Mr. Tapio Rautavaara, affectionately known as Tapsa, was born in the town of Northern Pirkkala, now a part of the city of Nokia, near Tampere in western Finland, in March 1915, and died in the Finnish capital Helsinki in September 1979. He was a Finnish athlete, more specifically a javelin thrower and later an archer, a singer and a movie actor. He was raised by his single mother, and his formal education ended at the elementary level. By the outbreak of the Finnish Winter War in 1939, he had worked as a road worker, a lumberjack, and a storeman at a cooperative mill. His national military service was with the Finnish Navy in the mid-1930s. When the Winter War broke out, the Navy was not very active, and Rautavaara was allowed to continue working at the cooperative wholesale shop mill. However, when the Continuation War broke out in June 1941, he was called to the Finnish army and he was ordered to be for the first year of the war in the front line. In the summer of 1942, he was transferred to the War Entertainment Troops and worked for 2 years as a radio journalist on the frontier-based Aunus Radio in the Soviet Eastern Karelia. During this time he became known to the troops. In the summer of 1944 the Finns had to retreat from Eastern Karelia and Rautavaara's radio career ended. He was one of the most beloved singers in 20th century Finland. Some of his famous songs include Isoisän olkihattu or the grandfather's straw hat, Reppu ja reissumies, the backpack and the hobo, Korttipakka, the deck of cards, Lapin Jenkka, the Lapland Scottish or Schottish, Juokse sinä humma, Run Horse Run, Kulkuri ja Joutsen, the Tramp and the Swan, Tuopin jäljet, Marks of the Tankard, Sininen uni, A Blue Dream, and Anttilan keväthuumaus, Anttila's Spring Fever. After the war he met Mr. Reino Helismaa, who composed and made the lyrics to Reissumies ja kissa, the Tripman, or the Tramp, and the Cat, which became Rautavaara's first hit. In addition, Rautavaara composed and wrote the lyrics for many of his records. He received gold records for the songs Isoisän olkihattu or Grandpa's Straw Hat, Vain merimies voi tietää, Only a Sailor Can Know, and the Wedding Waltz or Häävalssi in Finnish. The first song was written and composed by Mr. Rautavaara, the second one was composed by him, and the lyrics were written by Mr. Heikki Saari. Rautavaara, Helismaa, and Mr. Esa Pakarinen toured Finland together at the end of the 1940s and the start of the 1950s. The touring stopped due to personal problems, but continued for a short period in the 1960s before Mr. Helismaa's death in 1965. By the time of his tragic death in September 1979, Mr. Rautavaara had recorded 310 songs. He won the 1948 Summer Olympics javelin competition in London, Britain, with a result of 69.77 meters. He also won a bronze medal with the result of 66.40 meters at the 1946 European Athletics Championships in Oslo, Norway. He also received the gold medal in the Finnish team in the Archery World Championships of 1958. He was cast as the protagonist in numerous Finnish films and was also supposedly a candidate for the part of Tarzan after Johnny Weissmuller, an American actor, had quit his career. The peak of his popularity was in the 1950s, stretching into the early years of the 1960s. After that, his music was left in the shadow of Rautalanka or Iron String and tango music and the popularity of the television. He continued to perform regularly, however, right up until his death, even though his gigs in the 1970s were in department stores and topping out ceremonies. On September the 24th or 25th, 1979, he slipped and fell at the Tikkurila Swimming Center in Vantaa, Helsinki's northern neighboring city, and hit his head on the floor. He was taken to a nearby health center where his injuries were not taken seriously because staff believed him to be drunk. His head was bandaged and he was sent home. The next night he died as a result of a cerebral hemorrhage at his home in Oulunkylä in northeastern or northern Helsinki. He was buried in Malmi. Peter von Baag, a famous Finnish film documentarist, created a television documentary on Rautavaara entitled Tapsa Occurring at the time of Rautavaara's death in 1979.